Welcome to another installment of Famous Person Should Have Just Ignored What Was Happening on the Internet. That's it. That's my intro. Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about somber review drama. I guess we can call it drama. It's become drama because Stan Twitter involved things often become drama. But all this is a person on TikTok made a review of a concert and talked about how they did not have a good time. This show was not for them. And they were making a video informing people like, hey, if you're like me, this probably won't be a good show for you. She's handling this very well, I should say. Meg, you're handling this incredibly well. I'm looking this as the perspective of someone that does on occasion review concerts, and you guys ask me to review concerts a lot. Oftentimes it's usually K-pop concerts specifically, especially when you guys find out that I listen to a specific group. You guys are like, oh my god, please review a concert. I have reviewed concerts previously, and obviously I've reviewed a handful of music festivals now, because I usually like to have some form of connection to the artist to begin with, because then at the very least I know I'm gonna like the music, you know what I'm saying? Even if the show is something, or it's like a big cultural moment attached to the show, for example, with like the Eras Tour, where I was a casual Taylor Swift fan before that, but you know, that was the Eras Tour. Or I am a lifelong fan of a art group, like when I reviewed the 5 Seconds of Summer VIP experience. Really quick, let me tell you about the sponsor for today's video, Aura. You guys, it's happening again. I'm getting a lot of calls. A lot of them are bringing up the fact that I have credit card debt, and they're offering me a lot of loans. Information that they should not have, okay, about my personal finances. And the thing is that things like debt, credit card debt, medical debt, even your buying habits, your address, your personal phone number, those are all things the data brokers can get access to and are profiting from selling access to online. And I don't know about you, but I don't need 10 calls a day telling me that I'm approved for loans that have absolutely absurd rates when I'm already dealing with credit card debt. And that is one of the ways that today's sponsor, Aura, can help. Aura protects your privacy by identifying data brokers that are selling your information. They do the hard part of removing your info from their sites and keeping it off. Aura has a ton of features to help keep you safe online, including alerts if your personal info is found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, secure VPN, antivirus password manager, and more. And US-based support available around the clock if something goes wrong. And if the worst should happen, Aura offers $5 million in identity theft insurance protection. I'm not going to leave myself vulnerable, and neither should you. Go to aura.com/swell to try Aura for 14 days for free. Plenty of time for them to start checking to see if any of your information has been picked up by data brokers. And thank you again to Aura for sponsoring this video. Two main players here, okay? We have Meg and we have Sombr. Meg is a person that creates content on TikTok. I don't know where you would classify her as. Sorry, I just saw her caption. She changed her bio to say freshly 25, which does not make sense to you right now, but it will. But it's Meganator on TikTok, okay? And she has 83K followers at the time of me posting this. Don't know what she had prior to this. The thing about TikTok as well is that there are people that are like TikTokers, and then there are people that just happen to be users on TikTok that have a good following that like have motion, you know, like they have like, they're funny, but like they themselves like don't consider themselves as like TikTokers and things like that. No idea what Meg classifies herself as, but like she is not someone seemingly that like does reviews of things or anything like that. She bought a ticket to go to a Sombr concert because she was a fan of Sombr's music and saw that he was going to be performing songs that she liked, and her boyfriend decided they were going to go to the show. The baseline, I like artist, I buy ticket to artist, I go to artist show, okay, that's it. Then what she experienced at the concert, she felt inclined to post about. Very common also. There's been many instances of things like this, okay? I also think so much of what Meg talks about in her initial video could play back into a video I actually made, God, a few years ago now, talking about the TikTokification of concert etiquette and things like that, and how concert etiquette has actually taken a nosedive in recent years. Mostly post-lockdown, it feels like. Honestly, the problem, in my opinion, has gotten worse, frankly. There was a video today where I think she was at a summit or something like that, like a creator summit, and Demi Lovato comes on stage and just goes, a lot of phones. Like, hello, a lot of phones. And you just see everyone slowly start bringing their phones down out of like below everyone's heads. It's a fascinating clip. The TikTokification of etiquette within concerts and the crowds and people attending concerts, that's something that we've been seeing for a while, okay? However, I think what we're seeing a lot more with a lot more of these Gen Z artists and these younger artists that realize they have a big Gen Z following is some artists starting to kind of play into the TikTok side of the crowd. And I think that that is something that happened seemingly at this sombr concert that Meg attended. And the other thing within that Meg highlights in her video, she talks about a bunch of different things. She talks about the age of the attendees. She and her boyfriend and the parents of the other attendees were the adults in the room. And it was mostly, in her words, like a middle school dance, okay? And there was a lot of shoving and pushing and things like that from these teenagers, these young teens, that she was just like, I don't like this, okay? And she ended up saying that she didn't even end up staying the full show because she was just not happy with it. The overall thesis of Meg's video, which she states multiple times, is she's like, I am 25. I did not like my experience at Sombr's show, even though I'm a fan of his music. This concert was not my vibe. It wasn't for me. I didn't realize he had such a young tween fan base, basically.
Get inside, and immediately I clock why I got checked on my ID. It is the closest to a middle school dance I've ever been since I was in middle school at a dance. The only adults in the room are the parents and then my boyfriend and I. It was thousands upon thousands of tweens running around like they were at a middle school dance. Mind you, they've never been in a bar before. They don't know how to contain personal space. If they were adults, fights would have happened, fists would have been thrown, but they were just plowing through, checking shoulders, spilling drinks. Like, it was genuinely a nightmare.
So she was making this video to explain what happened, what she experienced, and why others in her age demographic of this fan base may not be happy going to a concert like this, okay? That's all. She is within her right to do that. Okay. It's information I would want to know, because maybe if one of my friends calls me up and is like, hey, I've got an extra ticket to the sombr concert, do you want to go? I am not a fan of sombr. Her response to this was not good. Meg put out her video, okay, and talks about a bunch of things. She talks about the age of the attendees. She talks about how when sombr came out, he made a 6'7" joke immediately.
Cut to main performer. Sombr gets on stage. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I'm like, ooh, finally, I'm going to enjoy myself, right? First 2 minutes he's on stage, he makes a 6'7" joke. I'm not even kidding you. And all the tweens, I've never had such immediate buyer's remorse in my life. Like, I knew I was just in for 3 hours of nightmare fuel.
I would be like, okay, so we're starting with a negative score. And sombr is 20. Sorry, freshly 20. By his own words, I should know. But she goes on to talk about how there was a few songs in there. They did the sombr dating show.
30 minutes in, he cuts all the music and he's like, we're now gonna have the sombr dating show. Raise your hand and come on up on stage if you wanna call your toxic ex. Make sure it's toxic and make sure there's somebody who's gonna pick up. Again, all the tweens. We then proceeded to watch 3 tweens go on stage and call their ex. I've never had such secondhand embarrassment for someone and felt such a deep cringe. Like, you know, if you see like something cringe online, you can just like exit out or something, right? I'm sitting there, I was like, wow, I paid money to see this. Like, I paid money to suffer through that.
At one point, he asked the crowd to bark for him. They bark.
He would make like super niche references to like 13-year-olds, but then he would also say like super vulgar stuff about like getting his dick sucked. And it was like, so you know your audience is clearly 13, yet here you are. Okay. There was a moment in between songs where he literally just randomly went, bark for me. And you hear the arena of 13, 14, 15-year-old girls start barking. And then immediately followed up with, yeah, I'm daddy.
Oftentimes, artists cannot control the age of their demographic. Speaking of 5 Seconds of Summer, there was a Rolling Stone article that I made a video on way back when I was still in high school, where they were bummed by the age of their audience and also the fact that it was largely women. Okay. Now, As I've gotten older, I know that, having a bunch of fangirls in your audience is actually like printing money, okay? When you're an artist or an actor or whatever, okay? You may hate it, but they're keeping your lights on. A lot of times, like, artists are to some degree aware of their demographics, okay? And it's one thing to have, you can know you have a young audience and still be like, I want to make this type of content and things like that. And we see this a lot with Olivia Rodrigo as well, where she was a Disney Channel performer and has songs that are Disney songs, but she is an adult now and she wants to talk about dating and sex and things that she deals with in her adult life. We see this kind of back and forth with people criticizing her when they bring often their children to go see her, thinking that it's going to be like a chill, like, kids performance when she hasn't been making kids music in years. My point is with bringing all this up is that Meg saw this during her concert and thought it was weird because she was clocking this is a lot of young teenagers that are visibly young, and it's making me uncomfortable. Tweens was the word that was used quite excessively, okay? Based off my interpretation of what I was seeing from her and what she was sharing, I was like, this is someone that is playing into the TikTok crowd, basically. There's a lot of artists that are like, I'm going to make my performance, and this is going to be my performance art, whatever. I hope the audience connects with it. If they film it and put it on TikTok, great. Because that's what a lot of the record labels and the like are wanting now. They want you to have that following to get you another deal, to make a lot of money, et cetera, et cetera. Some artists are like, great, let me just feed into that a bit more. And that's what I interpreted of this concert, with someone like Sombr realizing this is going to be a way to, like, grow.
I just feel so bad. I wasted my money. My friends wasted their money. And I don't want anyone else to be like, oh, Sombr's coming to my city, I'm going to go see them. It's not the vibes you think it's going to be.
So she put out that video. She apparently mentions Role Model in the video. Role Model is another performer. Also, not in my wheelhouse, frankly. She complimented Role Model at one point, and so he liked the video, like, with his main account. So she thought that was funny. She screenshotted it and put it on her stories. Her video was already apparently getting a lot of traction and hate on Twitter from Sombr stans. In her comment section as well. Gets vicious. She made a part 2 where she was like, I never said don't let kids have fun.
Right out the jump, I want to clear up. A lot of people were in my comments roasting me like, oh, tweens aren't allowed to attend concerts now. They're not allowed to have fun. Never did I say that. Let's take a step back, take a pump, take a beat. The entire point of my video was literally me saying I had no idea that was the vibe of his concerts. I would not have bought a ticket if I knew. And if you're someone like me who's like 25 and thinks it's gonna be a normal concert, you probably shouldn't go because you're not going to enjoy yourself. It's not for us, okay? I had no idea this guy was like a solely tween artist. I had no idea. He didn't give me those vibes at all.
She's handling this remarkably well, frankly. One of the other things that people were upset about is she criticized the opener of Sombr's performance. She criticized her talent and also the performative nature of how she was interacting with the crowd during her performance and things like that. This artist replied to her. This artist is also 24. This is relevant in a minute. This artist replied to her and was like, this is mean, basically. Meg apologized to her again because her friend also replied. And then, so she's like thinking that they're good or fine. And then she goes on Twitter and sees that she has posted, "We ride at dawn," to her audience. And Meg started getting death threats from this girl's fans, on top of, I'm assuming, the death threats from Sombr fans. Because if you've ever been on Stan Twitter, like me, you know the death threats go a little, they're a little loose with it on Twitter, okay? Not surprising that it happened. Crazy that an artist is encouraging that with their audience. So the opener for Sombr currently is Devin Gabriella, and she posted this on TikTok a day ago at the time we were recording this. I do not condone hate, harassment, or threats toward anyone sharing their opinion about me. A tweet I posted saying, "You truly ride it, Dawn, holy shit," was recently misquoted in someone's video without full context. The tweet was a genuine shocked reaction to people defending me and recognizing them for leaving kind messages amid hundreds of hate comments and videos I have been receiving online. It was not directed toward the creator of that video, nor was it meant to encourage harassment. With that said, I understand how my words could have been misinterpreted. Adding to the negativity was never my intent. And because that was the result, I'm deeply regretful for commenting on it at all. I will be more mindful moving forward. I wasn't aware of any threats being made as I've been limiting my time online. If you are sending hateful messages and threats on my behalf, please stop. That's not what I stand for. Let's treat each other with kindness and respect. I'm grateful for the support and excited to keep growing on this tour. See you at the next show. So a couple people in the comment sections are saying that the tweet actually was "We ride at dawn." I can't seem to find the tweet. Some people are like, "Be for real. Me when I lie. This is so tween drama. You ignoring it would have been your best move." I promise this is not shade, but if you have a PR person already, I would highly suggest searching LinkedIn again. But Meg made a video with about the Devon stuff, the follow-up to her responses. She's like, "I'm not saying teens can't enjoy things. Never in my video did I said kids can't enjoy things. I'm saying that this is not my vibe, and I was making my video for other people that might match my vibe that don't want to experience this and maybe would just put their money at another concert." Which is fine and dandy. You can do that. You can also have a bad experience at a show. A teen can have a bad experience at a show. And that doesn't mean that they are saying they can't let people enjoy things. What are we doing? I love the context collapse, the bean duplication. Well, I have a good time at Sombr's concert. Cool. Great. You won. Congratulations. That's fine. Like, what are we doing? I saw Meg's video before I saw Sombr's video. A lot of people have been talking about this. This is all over the FYP. Sombr made a video now 2 days ago. Just captioned rant. And he says, "I thought I was chronically online, but I guess I'm not." Here's the video.
"I thought I was chronically online, but it's just come to my attention that there's a TikTok drama going around because a 25-year-old attended my concert and was basically complaining that there were too many tweens there. I was making too many brain rot jokes, and she just thought it was a cringe concert. And also she was body shaming me, and it's kind of started a massive body shaming hate train directed towards me on a lot of videos of me on the internet right now, which is..." I totally respect people having opinions, but I am a 20-year-old artist, freshly 20. And if you're 25 years old and you're going to come to my concert and not expect people younger than you to be there when I, the artist, am 5 years younger than you, it's just a skill issue. The jokes thing, like, you had to have known about my online presence before coming to my concert. I mean, anyone who knows me knows I've never uttered a serious word in my life. And also, I make jokes for 5 minutes of the concert and the rest is music. Like, live a little, enjoy life. Every age, sex, sexuality, gender, race, everyone is welcome at my concert, and I mean everyone. You guys need to find problematic people to hate on because I am just existing. Also, I'm just going to give a quick tutorial.
Oh. Where did she body shame you in the video? He claims multiple times that she body shamed him. Apparently the comment sections did involve body shaming. Does not mean that she was body shaming you if people do that. Your videos also don't respond to the actual concerning bits that she brought up in her video, which is the bark for me, good girl, making comments about getting your dick sucked, you know, like things like that. He basically acknowledges that his audience is a tween audience, but then later in the video, he like makes another edit and is like, any age, race, sex, gender, like he just starts listing things off. Any of you are allowed at my concert. It's like, okay, she is just, it's not what she didn't say anything like that. I'm confused. All in all, this was a mistake. You shouldn't have put this video out, especially because this is a few days later. You never should have replied to this. If your PR team told you to do this, fire them. I don't think a PR team was involved in this, frankly. A lot of people, I think like a PR, like a publicist is like hanging out like around you all the time. No, my team gets me podcast appearances, events on occasion, interviews, things like that. But I'm not like sending them posts before I post it. They're not going to see this video until it's out. If there was a true scandal tomorrow, would I call them? Maybe, you know, but I also probably wouldn't, you know, with love, you know, like they're for publicity. That's usually what I use them for. Now, there are people that do have their publicist around that is like, no, this is bad for your image. Okay. So at Sombr's level, he should have someone that is around all the time, that is helping him with his image, frankly, at this point, with the development of his career. Either someone that his team has or someone that the record label, whoever he's with, helps him with. I don't know if he's represented by anyone currently, but that's where you should have someone that is around that is helping you with instances like this. In fact, your team should have known about this before you knew about this. Monitoring social engagement. I've seen some claims that his fan pages are run by his team. I have no way of confirming that, But it wouldn't be surprising to me if at least 1 or 2 fan pages are run by his team. There have been some of these pages that are apparently deleting comments about the comments made at his audience towards tweens. And I want to make it abundantly clear as I bring this up, I am not making an accusation. There is nothing here to warrant an accusation. I am just explaining what Meg shared in her video and what other people have been saying, like, yeah, it was weird, and he now himself is acknowledging that his audience is fairly young. He also then goes on to say that, like, you're criticizing me and I'm like freshly 20. I'm freshly 20 years old. He's been 20 for 4 months, but still, you're an adult. I don't know. Freshly 20 is wild, which is why Meg putting freshly 25 in her bio is funny. But he also routinely keeps criticizing the fact that she is 25 and then goes on to say, like, oh, all ages are allowed at my concert. It's just a fascinating video. Honestly, what you should have done, if anything, okay, if the option 1, nothing. Keep putting on your show. The answer is that more clips go viral or whatever from your concerts, showing off good concerts. Your fans would defend you. Your fans would be like, oh, this show is amazing, actually, and would do their own reviews of what an amazing time they had at your concert. Like, this could have solved itself if this truly needed to be solved, in your opinion, okay? That was option number 1. Option number 2, not this, okay? Literally anything but this. This is insane. This is crazy because you don't address the main concerning things that she brought up in her video. You mentioned the audience and the brain rot bit where he's like, I do brain rot for like 5 minutes, which fascinating. And he's like, I've never been a serious person a day in my life. Are you not serious about your music? Like, I also would like to support artists that are serious about their music, like that's just my personal take. The other thing is a comment on her post or even a post or an Instagram story that was like, hey guys, just want to remind everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Maybe you can check out another concert and it'll be a better show for you. Thank you for attending. Thank you for even coming and giving my concert a shot. Something like that. The reality of being an artist is that music isn't for sometimes your sound, your art isn't for everyone. And I hope my fans can be respectful of that when it does happen. Like basically saying like, hey, I don't approve of everyone sending death threats and being crazy, like just there was a way you could do that of like, okay, that's okay. My live shows are, I'm sorry I didn't live up to your expectations, whatever. Anything like that. He didn't do that. He did this where it's just a fascinating video. He also then mentions that he was sick at his concert and he still went and did it, the one that she attended.
Also, I just remembered that I had a fever and bronchitis at the show she went to, but the show goes on. I will not cancel unless I'm on my deathbed.
That is a choice you make as an artist. Some performers have given themselves permanent vocal damage from doing so. So that's bad. We actually have multiple artists currently that are touring that are experiencing collapse and things like that because their health is not being prioritized, unfortunately. So I don't want to encourage that. I don't think you saying that you had been sick for her show and still performed takes away from her criticisms of your behavior during the show and the way that you spoke to a tween audience that you also acknowledge as tweens. He basically refers to her being 25 like it's so old, which is fascinating to me every time it happens because without fail, okay, your audience is going to age, as are you. So it's wild to criticize her turning 25 because you're 20 years old. You're going to be 25 at some point. So now for the next 5 years, you get to deal with comments being like, wow, you're almost 25. Like that's, congratulations, you have a bit now. I would just sell merch now, almost 25, or something like that. Ideally, your audience would age with you, even if you have a younger audience. As I said, I keep using 5 Seconds of Summer as a reference here because a lot of this is paralleled, it feels like. I started listening to 5 Seconds of Summer when I was like 14, 15. Okay, I'm going to be 28. Ooh. Get the walker, like it happens. You do age, and ideally, as an artist, you would hope that your audience would grow and develop with you as you grow and develop as an artist because you are young. I'm not going to say you're a child or a teenager or anything like that. You are an adult, and so you would hope that your audience grows with you. So criticizing someone that came to your show that was a fan of yours, that was a fan of your music, because they are 25 is fascinating play. Bad one. If you do have a publicist and they approved this, fire them. If you don't have a publicist and you're like, I'm going to do what I want, because I do know there's a lot of clients like that are like that to begin with. I'm sure they're yanking their hair out, like by the root. They're like, they're like yanking it. Good on Meg for having thick skin, because some of the vitriol I am seeing in her comment sections and the like, wild. Y'all need to get a grip sometimes, I get it. the world is on fire, things are bad. So like your favorite artist getting hate online feels like it's the end of the world. I was also 14 at one point, okay? It does feel like it's the end of the world. Oh no, he can't handle this. He's just 20 years old. You know, I get it, okay? Take Sombr's own advice and touch some grass, because at the end of his video, he goes to a thing of AstroTurf and touches it. Wild, because she did go touch grass. She went out to your concert and then came back and talked about her experience at your concert. Going out and living life is touching grass. Going out to a concert, believe it or not, is touching grass. Bring it all back to Stan Twitter is not. So honestly, we could take that as you telling your audience to touch grass. Maybe you touching grass. You mentioned like the brain rot content. I thought I was terminally online or perpetually online, whatever the wording is you used. And again, just attacking her and her age. She did make a point about her age in her video about like, hey, if you're an adult like me, this is going to feel weird. So it is a relevant point to bring up. It's not a good point for you to bring up, especially because you didn't acknowledge her main thing about how it felt like you were being inappropriate with an audience that you knew were teenagers, which you then also mentioned, of course, my audience is young, whatever. Like, choices were made. Anyways, have you ever been to a sombr concert? I did see some people saying in the comment sections, like, I was at a sombr concert a couple months ago and it wasn't like this. It was like a very normal concert. Maybe this was all a side effect of him being sick and he just decided to like ramp up the brain rot or whatever at this concert. Crazy. Let me know though. Comment down below. Are you a fan of any of these people? Are you a fan of Role Model? Did you follow Meg after this? You know, did this turn you into a sombr fan? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I stream on Twitch. My own Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder, check out Girly Pop Go if you'd like to see more car and motorsport content. Shout out to my channel members. You also join hidden memberships and go ahead and click join down below if you'd like to follow me on social media. That'll be all up here, and that's going to be have a lovely day. Remember, about to be freshly 28. Okay, bye. I can't get over freshly 20. I'm going to use that. I think maybe when it's my birthday, I'm going to put freshly 28 on everything. It's so good. It's so funny.